Luigi Cadorna, September 4, 1850, December 21, 1928, was an Italian general, Marshal of Italy, and Count, most renowned for his role as Chief of Staff of the Italian Army from July 1914 to November 1917. During World War I military education. At age 10, Cadorna entered the Toili Military School in Milan, 1860. At 15, he joined the Turin Military Academy, graduating in 1868 as a second lieutenant in the Artillery Corps. Early life and military career: born in Verbania, Polonza, Piedmont. In 1850, Luigi Cadorna was the son of General Raffaele Cadorna, prominent figure in the Italian Risorgimento, who led the capture of Rome in 1870. This familial connection to military prestige influenced Luigi's career path. 1870, as a young officer in the 2nd Regiment of CHFC of Artillery, Cadorna participated in the occupation of Rome under his father's command, a key event in Italy's unification. This was his first combat experience. Promoted to major, he served on the staff of General Pianell and later became Chief of Staff of the Verona Divisional Command. As a colonel in 1892, he commanded the 10th Regiment of Bersaglieri, earning a reputation for strict discipline and harsh punishment. He authored a manual on infantry tactics emphasizing offensive strategies, reflecting his later wartime approach. Promoted to lieutenant general in 1898. Cadorna held various senior staff and divisional corps command roles. By 1914, he was nearing retirement age, but was appointed Chief of Staff in July 1914, replacing General Alberto Pollio, who died unexpectedly. Appointment and initial context: July 1914, May 1915, Cadorna was appointed Chief of Staff on July 27, 1914, following the sudden death of General Alberto Pollio. At 64, he was near retirement, but was chosen for his experience and reputation as a disciplinarian. Italy was initially neutral under the Triple Alliance with Germany and Austria-Hungary, requiring Cadorna to prepare for potential conflict against France. However, Italy's secret negotiations with the Entente, via the Treaty of London, April 1915, shifted plans to war against Austria-Hungary. State of the Italian Army: Cadorna inherited a poorly equipped army of 875,000 men, 36 infantry divisions, 120 modern artillery pieces, and 700 machine guns. Recent campaigns in Libya, 1911 to 1912, had depleted resources, and the army lacked training and modern equipment. Cadorna focused on reorganization, expanding the army to 1.2 million by May 1915 and improving logistics. Though shortages persisted, strategic planning: anticipating war with Austria-Hungary, Cadorna developed an offensive strategy targeting the Isonzo River to capture Gorizia and advance toward Trieste or the Ljubljana Gap. The rugged, mountainous terrain favored defenders, posing significant challenges. He adopted a defensive posture in the Trentino region, expecting Austrian attacks. Their entry into World War I and early campaigns: May 1915. 1915, Italy's entry. May 23, 1915, Italy declared war on Austria-Hungary, aligning with the Entente. Cadorna's strategy emphasized frontal assaults to break through Austro-Hungarian lines, influenced by pre-war doctrines prioritizing offensive momentum and morale. First 4 battles of the Isonzo: December 1915, first battle, June 23–July 7, 1915, Cadorna launched an offensive along the Isonzo, targeting Gorizia. Italian forces, numbering 225,000, faced 115,000 Austro-Hungarians. Poor artillery support and entrenched defenses led to 15,000 Italian casualties and minimal gains. Second battle, July 18, August 3, 1915. A renewed assault gained small footholds, but cost 42,000 Italian casualties against 46,000 Austro-Hungarian losses. The first 2 weeks of fighting alone resulted in 60,000 Italian deaths. Third and fourth battles, October 18th, November 4th. November 10th, December 2nd, 1915, continued attacks yielded negligible progress, with 117,000 Italian casualties across both battles. Cadorna's insistence on frontal assaults against fortified positions in mountainous terrain drew criticism for high losses and poor results. The Italian army faced shortages of artillery shells, machine guns, and trained officers. Cadorna's rigid command structure limited subordinate initiative, and his strategy underestimated the defensive advantages of trenches and barbed wire. 1916. Mixed results and notable successes. 5th to 7th battles of the Isonzo March-November. 1916 5th battle, March 9th to 15th. 1916, a smaller offensive aimed to disrupt Austro-Hungarian preparations, gaining little ground at a cost of 13,000 Italian casualties. Asiago offensive May June 1916. Austria-Hungary launched a counter-offensive in the Trentino, aiming to break through to the Venetian plain. Cadorna's defensive preparations, including fortified lines, halted the advance by June 16, with 76,000 Italian casualties. This defense was a strategic success, preventing a potential rout. 6th battle, August 617, 1916, Cadorna's first major victory came with the capture of Gorizia, a key symbolic and strategic objective. Italian forces, numbering 280,000, exploited Austro-Hungarian weaknesses, suffering 51,000 casualties, but boosting morale. 7th battle, September 14th to 18th, 1916. Further attacks gained limited ground, with 17,000 Italian casualties. Logistical improvements. Cadorna oversaw the expansion of the army to 1.5 million men and increased artillery production. He coordinated with Allied commanders to align Italian offensives with broader Entente strategies, aiming to exhaust Central Powers' resources. Disciplinary measures. Cadorna's harsh discipline intensified, with summary executions for perceived cowardice or desertion. By 1917, approximately 750 soldiers were executed, the highest in any World War I army. Over 60% of the 6% of troops charged with disciplinary offenses were convicted, fostering resentment and lowering morale. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more military, Navy, and geopolitical updates. 8th to 11th battles of the Isonzo Mayak, October 19, 17, 8th and 9th. Battles May 12, June 8, September 1st to 12th. 1917, these offensives pushed Austro-Hungarian lines back, with the 9th battle gaining ground near Bensiza. Italian casualties totaled 150,000 across both battles, with limited strategic gains. 10th battle, May 10, June 8, 1917, a major offensive cost 157,000 Italian casualties, capturing some heights but failing to achieve a breakthrough. 11th battle, August 19, September 12, 1917. The largest Italian offensive, involving 600 battalions and 5,200 guns, gained ground on the Bensiza Plateau but stalled, with 166,000 Italian casualties. Austro-Hungarian forces were weakened, prompting Germany to send reinforcements. The Battle of Caporetto, October 24, 1917. Austro-Hungarian and German forces, bolstered by 7 German divisions, launched a surprise offensive at Caporetto. Cadorna's intelligence warned of an attack, but he was on leave for most of October, and his subordinate, General Pietro Badoglio, was unprepared. Attack and collapse. On October 24, a heavy bombardment and gas attack disrupted Italian lines. German and Austro-Hungarian troops, using infiltration tactics, broke through the Second Army's front. Cadorna's forward troop placement and lack of defensive depth exacerbated the rout. By November 12, Italian forces retreated 150 kilometers to the Piave River. Casualties and consequences. The defeat resulted in 11,000 Italian deaths, 20,000 wounded, 275,000 prisoners, and 300,000 stragglers. Over 3,000 artillery pieces were lost. Cadorna initially blamed his troops' cowardice, but his strategic errors, including ignoring warnings and poor coordination, were critical factors. Britain and France sent 11 divisions to stabilize the front. At their insistence, Cadorna was sacked on November 9, 1917, replaced by General Armando Diaz. Controversies in leadership style, discipline, and morale. Cadorna's draconian measures, including executions and possible decimation, killing 1 in 10 soldiers and underperforming units, aimed to enforce discipline but alienated troops. Of 5.5 million Italian soldiers, 870,000 faced charges, with 61 convicted. This contrasted with lower execution rates in other Allied armies, 346 in the British Army. Strategic critique. Cadorna's obsession with frontal assaults ignored the realities of trench warfare and terrain. His 11 Isonzo offensives cost over 1 million Italian casualties for minimal gains. Critics argue he failed to adapt to modern warfare, unlike his successor Diaz, who prioritized defensive consolidation. Despite strategic failures, Cadorna excelled in logistics, mobilizing Italy's industrial base and expanding the army. His coordination with allies ensured Italy's offensives tied down Austro-Hungarian forces, aiding broader Entente efforts. Post-dismissal role. November 1917, March 1918 Allied Supreme War Council. After his dismissal, Cadorna was appointed Italy's representative to the Versailles Supreme War Council, a symbolic role to maintain his dignity. He served until March 1918, when he retired following the Italian government's inquiry into Caporetto, which held him primarily responsible. Cadorna's capture of Gorizia, 1916, and defense at Asiago were significant, boosting Italian morale and weakening Austria-Hungary. His logistical efforts transformed an underprepared army into a credible force. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.